Vanille.
My name is Herbadia Vanille. I'm a lassie from Grand Pulse. And to everyone on Cocoon, evil.
Hey everyone, Wandering Bard here, back with another Final Fantasy XIII character analysis, and this one is coming by the request of you, my viewers. A while ago I put out a poll on YouTube asking which daughter of the goddess y'all wanted to see me analyze first after I was done with the Hope video, and that poll got a staggering number of responses, so first off I want to say thank you to everyone who contributed to that. The majority of you did say Vanille, which I was pretty happy to see since she is my favorite of the two. So today, she's the person that I'm going to analyze. Specifically, I'm going to be coming after her character from the viewpoint of her avoidance and guilt in the first half of Final Fantasy XIII, and how her choices there drive her actions in the rest of the trilogy with her desire for atonement. Let's get straight in. Hope you enjoy.
What was it like? I mean, how did it happen? You were done with your focus, right?
I was chosen. I was made into a lassie to fight against Cocoon.
Vanille's background is never fully explained in-game, but we can piece a lot of it together from her interactions with Fang. Vanille and Fang were both born and raised on Grand Pulse, the world below, long before the events of the game. During the War of Transgression, the war between Cocoon and Grand Pulse, Vanille and Fang were both branded as lassie by the fal'Cie Anima, and given the focus to become Ragnarok, a being of destruction, and destroy Cocoon. This focus is unique in that it was one they could only complete together. We see at the end of Final Fantasy XIII that Fang could only become a weak version of Ragnarok by herself, while Vanille and Fang together took on the true form of the beast. This next bit is only alluded to in-game, but the wiki confirms that back during the War of Transgression, Fang tried to complete their focus alone because Vanille was too compassionate to hurt anyone. When the goddess Etro drained Ragnarok of strength, Vanille and Fang both entered crystal stasis, and they, alongside the fal'Cie Anima, were taken up to Cocoon by the fal'Cie Barthandelus. The after effects of Fang becoming Ragnarok are seen when they wake up. Fang's brand was altered when she awoke, no longer progressing towards becoming a Seath, and she had also lost all memory of her focus. Vanille, as the one who didn't become Ragnarok, still had her brand and her memory, but was so distraught by the idea of hurting people again that she pretended to also have amnesia. Vanille's denial of her focus remains pretty constant throughout her journey, so as a result, her conflict comes not from the focus itself, but from the consequences of her pretending to have forgotten it.
This place was beautiful, and my focus was to destroy it. I decided to do nothing and wait to become a Seath. But because I did nothing, others got dragged into this nightmare, and I was the one to blame.
So a few days before this scene happens, Sarah chanced upon the fal'Cie Anima in the Pulse Vestige and was branded as a lassie. Fang explains to Lightning that this happened because they stalled on completing their focus. In her words, they didn't do their job right. One day later at Uriday Gorge, Fang attempted to jog her memory by attacking a fal'Cie, and Sazh's son, Sazh, was branded as a Cocoon lassie as a result of this. And these events both have a huge impact on Vanille's journey down the line, which we'll get to. The incident at Uriday also caused Vanille and Fang to be separated. While Fang searches tirelessly for Vanille and eventually was taken in by the cavalry, Vanille waited out her days in the city of Bodum, where she met Sarah again.
See, the thing is, I was chasing after someone. And there's something I really need to apologize for. But I just can't ever find the words.
Gee, that's gotta be tough, huh?
Yes. I even have nightmares about it.
Well, if it's too much to deal with, face it later.
Really?
Sometimes things seem easier when you look at them from a distance, you know?
But does that
really work? Good question. I'll let you know.
The concept of face it later, as Sarah describes it, is actually a really healthy one. Sometimes you do need to step away from an issue to make better sense of it, and then tackle it again with a refreshed mind. The problem is that for Vanille, this idea manifests as complete avoidance, which would have been fine if it only affected her, but she just watched Sazh get branded 2 days ago, and in this scene, we see her figure out that Sarah was branded too, although it's indicated that she might have known this one already. She later explains to Snow that she wanted to apologize to Sarah for what happened, but she didn't, likely because she was scared to admit her responsibility. And this sets into motion the vicious cycle that defines Vanille's story for the first half of the game. She delays admitting the truth because of how her actions have affected others, but the longer she delays, the more the consequences of her actions stack up, and the worse the fallout will be when the truth does come out. This in turn makes her keep delaying, which sets her up for an even worse fallout down the line. Let's take a look.
Alright, last one. Somebody take it.
Yeah.
Because she chose to wait in Bodum, the city that Anima was transported to, Vanille was quarantined and thrown onto the Purge train with the rest of Bodum's citizens when Sazh discovered the Fal'Cie there. She ends up on the same train as Lightning, Sazh, and Hope, and she and Hope become partners of circumstance after the train gets derailed. When Snow and his friends fight their way towards the Purges, many of them volunteer to help fight their way out, including Hope's mother, Nora Estheim. Vanille and Hope stay behind where they watch Nora fall to her death after saving Snow's life, and Hope holds Snow personally responsible for her death. Vanille encourages Hope to confront him, so together they follow Snow to the Pulse Vestige, where she meets Lightning, Snow, and Sazh, then proceeds to watch as all of them, plus Hope, are branded as Pulse l'Cie. Like, look at her face here. She's not scared or stands up for a fight, she's sad and resigned because she knows exactly what this being is and what's going to happen. She once again, however, does not reveal any of this to anyone. She pretends to have also been branded alongside them when the party asks about it, and she doesn't reveal how much she already knows about their focus. And this is where Vanille's once noble motivations start to fall apart a bit. Vanille isn't responsible for the party being branded per se, like it's a direct byproduct of her stalling her focus and Sarah being branded, but the party knew exactly what they were getting into when they battled a Fal'Cie. But she had every opportunity to explain their focus to them, and this would have saved them so much confusion if she had. It would have been especially good in helping Snow's journey, as so much of his conflict came from the nature of his focus. So it's unclear why she doesn't tell. She doesn't know right now about Sazh being Sazh's father, but she does know about Lightning's and Snow's relationships with Sarah. So it could partly be that she doesn't want to admit being responsible for Sarah's branding, and maybe part of her does feel personally responsible for her friends' fates too. But a large part of it, especially as time goes by, is that she doesn't want to admit having lied. The problem is that her response is to keep lying.
What about Sarah? She said to save Cocoon. It might even be our focus to make sure Cocoon's...
Our focus doesn't matter.
Like here, Vanille, you know exactly what your focus is. You could have said something. Like, admittedly, destroying Eden was in line with that focus, so it might not have mattered, but even so. The real fallout begins when the party splits up right after this scene, and she ends up traveling with Sazh.
If I was right about his focus, he's probably a crystal already. Of course, if he was supposed to take out that thing's l'Cie, then either we die, or he's a Sith.
Die? Really?
Vanille and Sazh end up together in the Sunleth Waterscape, where she finally learns about his relationship to the boy that she met in Yurday Gorge. Now she has even more reason not to reveal herself. After all, she is partly responsible for what happened to Sazh. Opening up to Vanille helps Sazh process his own burden, but it only adds to Vanille's as she has to now face the reality that people are being hurt and killed due to her actions. She and Sazh run to Nautilus, the City of Dreams, hoping to distract themselves from the dilemmas that they're both facing. However, the city only serves as a reminder for Sazh about the moments that he won't get to share with his son. Eventually, he comes to Vanille resolving to turn himself into the Sanctum, hoping to have one more moment with his son before their Lassie fates consume them both. Vanille at this point decides to confess everything, hoping to motivate Sazh with revenge, but before she can work up the courage to do so, Sanctum troops attack. And then, Vanille gets punished for delaying and opening up to Sazh, since Dodge turns the crystal before their eyes, and the truth is revealed to Sazh by the worst person in the game, Chronobot.
And speaking of gratitude... We enhanced the surveillance footage from the energy plant.
Come back?
Those are the pulse Lassie behind what happened.
We got close to a cocoon Fal'Cie.
The picture's a little grainy, but I'm sure you recognize that one. You've spent so much time together.
And then, the fallout that we've been building up to commences, and the scope of it is quite something. I covered it in the Sazh video, and it's mostly Sazh-centric, so I won't be dwelling on it too much here, but there is one bit I have to show for Vanille.
Shoot me! For your son!
Don't you even! You think you die, and that's that? You think you die and everything will be sugar and rainbows?
Then what can I do? What do you want from me? If I can't live or die, what do you want me to do?
Don't ask me. You figure it out.
I don't know!
So this next bit is a really delicate topic to discuss, so I want to do it properly. Later in this scene, Sazh almost chooses to kill himself rather than Vanille. And when I analyzed this scene in the Sazh video, I said that his choice to keep going, despite having lost almost everything, was a very brave one. When I said that, and when I say that here now, I absolutely do not mean to say that people who do choose to commit suicide are cowardly. But in this instance, when Vanille is begging Sazh to shoot him, she basically is asking for an escape, for an out, for the coward's way out. And it's understandable. She's distraught. She feels guilty over what happened, and maybe part of her feels that she deserves to be punished, but part of it also is that she wants an escape. And as Sazh rightly points out, that won't fix anything. It won't make anything better. Real atonement could only come for Vanille by living and making amends, and that's what defines her entire journey for not only the rest of this game, but the rest of the trilogy.
Vanille!
Fang!
When Vanille meets up with the others, Fang is with them and she's told them everything, so Vanille doesn't have to come clean to them anymore. The only person she needs to come clean to is Fang herself. We do see her being more proactive about it here, because she does keep insisting that she and Fang need to talk, and Fang's the one who keeps delaying it. But she's still scared to admit lying about their focus, and then Fang figures it out on her own.
It's my fault Grand Pulse ended up like this, isn't it?
What?
I remember everything. I became Ragnarok. I scarred Cocoon. And I left Grand Pulse in this mess. It was me.
What are you talking about?
It all came back to me. Everything that happened with iFocus. All of it.
You're lying!
No, it's the truth. It's all my fault.
Don't say that!
Vanille! The Eidolon knows the truth. Ha! I knew I was right.
Wait! So you were lying?
No more than you were. Admit it! You remember everything!
It wasn't your fault!
Vanille, we should talk about this later. I knew something was off. You've been shying away from our focus ever since we woke up on Cocoon. I couldn't figure it out, but then it all made sense after hearing that story from Rains. You already knew. You knew Ragnarok was the name of destruction.
It wasn't fair. You had to do all the horrible stuff. And I didn't have to do anything.
That is no reason to lie to me. You think that's what I want? You, of all people! Poor kid. You've had it rough.
Fang.
Listen, you're not alone anymore.
I'm so sorry.
Atonement couldn't really begin for Vanille until she laid herself bare and owned up to herself. Now that she's done that, she has nothing holding her back, and she promises that she won't run anymore. When the party learns that Cocoon is being thrown into chaos by Barthandelus, she promises to do whatever she can to make things better, and she holds to that promise even when the rest of the party falls in battle around her. She was prepared to die doing whatever she could to help, and thankfully the goddess recognized this, showering her mercy on the party and giving Vanille and Fang the power to save the world. Together they become Ragnarok and form the crystal pillar that held Cocoon up in the sky, preventing the world as we know it from ending. So while their friends were freed from Crystal and worked to build a new life together on Grand Pulse, Vanille and Fang remain crystallized in the pillar. They're still able to dream and look back on what happened, and in fact, Vanille acts as the narrator for the events of Final Fantasy XIII, providing retrospective commentary on what happened. If you look back on her comments, they're full of regret, constantly saying that if she had only been stronger, if she hadn't lied, none of this would have happened. Logically, this isn't quite true, since if she'd acknowledged and completed her focus of destroying Cocoon, many more people would have died. She feels the burden because she directly influenced events by lying to everyone, and because people who she feels close to suffered as a result of her actions. So, rather than focusing on the many lives that she ultimately saved, Vanille is determined to atone for the people who died. In Final Fantasy XIII 2, she and Fang described their position of holding up Cocoon as a form of atonement. But at the game's climax, the pillar collapses, and Hope, Sazh, and the Academy were just able to retrieve their crystallized bodies before that happened. They remained in Crystal while the world fell to chaos around them, until they awakened 13 years before the events of Lightning Returns.
Vanille, we'd fought together once, a long time ago. We were comrades in arms in a battle against gods who toyed with human destiny. And at the end of that battle, she sacrificed herself. She turned into a great crystal pillar, rising from the plains of Pulse, holding a world full of people safe in the sky.
But then 13 years ago, she came back.
You again?
When they awoke from Crystal, Lumina, who I mentioned briefly during the Lightning video, was with them for reasons that have never been fully explained. More importantly, though, is that after they awoke, Vanille was able to hear the voices of the dead, the souls who were trapped, suffering in chaos. It's never been explained why this happened either. This could have been a byproduct of them having been in crystal stasis, but that doesn't really explain why Vanille had that power and not Fang or even Lightning, since all three of them were crystallized multiple times prior to the events of Lightning Returns. This could have been a deliberate machination by Lumina, Brunavelza, or the dead themselves, as all three of them have a reason for wanting Vanille to hear them. Lumina is keeping Sarah's soul inside her, and the dead want her to show them the way to be reborn in the new world, and Vanille, as the most compassionate character in the game, would absolutely help make that happen if she knew she could do it. Brunavelza, in his Order of Salvation, want Vanille to perform the Soul Song, a ritual that will destroy the souls of the dead and wipe their memory from the minds of the living. making it as though they never existed at all. And he would choose Vanille for that, since she's in a place right now where she's very easy to manipulate. The fact that she can hear the voices of the dead only exacerbates her anguish and guilt over the people who died because of her actions. She's desperate to make amends, and the Order has lied to her, telling her that the Soul Song will put the souls of the dead at peace. Now admittedly, even Lightning was surprised to learn the Order's true intentions. After all, they preach salvation, so why wouldn't they offer it to the dead too? So it's not all Vanille's fault for being fooled by them, but she's also in a place where she's very easy to manipulate because she's determined to atone, to the point where she doesn't even care that the Soul Song will kill her as well. And unlike in the scene with Sazh, where she was desperate for an escape or for punishment, Vanille has a genuine reason to believe here that her sacrifice will make things better for people. The problem is that the Order has convinced her to offer salvation to the dead on the Order's terms, and not in a way that listens to or truly helps the people that she's desperate to make amends to. So when Lightning and Fang interrupt the ritual to save her, they can't convince her to not go through with it with the value of her own life. Instead, all they do is ask her to listen to the dead, and to see if they really are demanding her sacrifice.
So, did you listen to the dead?
Yes. They spoke of sadness and regret, but also hope. They're begging for their suffering to end. But no matter how much pain they feel, none of them ask to be destroyed. Not a single one. Being amongst them is like drowning in tears, but there's hope there too. They want a new future. They want to live again.
The sound of true despair is silence. When all hope is gone, that's when people stop raging against their fate. But the dead, they're still crying out against it. It's because they haven't given in. They still have hope.
And I didn't listen. Instead, I was gonna perform the Soul Song and destroy them forever.
It would have been a hell of a mistake. But there's still time to make it up to them.
There is a better way, Vanille. You can lead them to safety. Show them the way up into the Ark. Once they're there, they will be reborn into the new world.
You think I can do that?
Someone told me you can, but it'll be dangerous.
She means you've got to risk your life. You and me both. We'll do it together.
Yeah. I won't do the Soul Song. I'll try to guide them instead. All the souls will be reborn in the new world.
True atonement came for Vanille when she listened to the people she was trying to save. She was willing to do whatever it took to make things better, but her sacrifice would have caused more harm than help. What's beautiful is that when she realized this, she immediately righted her course, and that was when she truly and fully made amends for everything that happened in 13. And the act of atonement also saved hers and Fang's souls, allowing them to join the others in the new world.
The souls of the dead are saved. And yours too.
Thank you, Lightning.
You know, I get a lot of comments from people who say that the videos that I make have helped them appreciate characters who they hadn't really thought about before. But this video is really helpful for me too, in that I didn't fully appreciate Vanille's arc until I made it. Like, I loved how she was written in 13, but I didn't fully appreciate how Lightning Returns ties up her whole character arc until I did this video. So these videos help me too. And I'm really happy to hear how much y'all enjoy them, because I really enjoy making them too. That's it for this video for now, and we've got one more to go until I'm done with all the Final Fantasy XIII main casts, but I'm still planning to do the 13-2 characters, and of course, Final Fantasy XVI comes out soon, so you better believe I'm doing character videos for that game. Like this video and subscribe if you enjoyed it and you want to see more, and yeah, hope you have a good day. I'll see you next time.